Hello, how are you all doing today? I'm Bernie Thompson, and on this video, we're going to examine this 2011 XB Scion. This XB has a problem. The check engine light is on. The shop that's been working on this has cleared the code several times and sent the car out, only to have it come back to your bays again. Now, all of us can have problems like this to where cars come back. The real problem with this car is it's an EVAP, very small leak code. Sometimes these can be difficult to find. Now the first question is it leaking? The second question we got to ask is where? Today we're going to hook up a revolutionary tool by ATS called the Bullseye Leak Detector. It puts CO2 into the system, and where the leak is, it comes out, and with an electronic leak detector, it detects the presence of that leak, and then we spray on a foam. The foam is engineered to turn from a pinkish color to a yellow color at the leak site, making this a very easy and quick process to identify exact leak locations down to 1/1000th of an inch. So let's take a look at this car and see if it's leaking. The first thing that we need to do on this XB is to find the purge control valve. The purge control valve will have the line that goes back to the canister so we can get into the system and put CO2 under pressure into it. Some of these systems will have a service port and some won't. Once we find the valve, then we can see if a service port is there or if we're going to use an adapter. The purge control valve is located on this XB close to the master cylinder. When we look, there is no service port. So we're going to need to get into the hose that goes to the canister, and we're going to put a T system in to this so we can pressurize the system. Now we need to go look at the vent in the rear of the car. On this XB, the carbon canister is located in the rear of the car. The access is very easy. Now normally, as soon as I find the canister, I start to look for the vent solenoid so we can control it and close the system. Toyota uses a pump, so we can't close and open this. So what we're going to need to do is find where the vent is located and plug it. If we see this vent coming out here and going up to the fill, this is my vent. What we want to do here is to pull and remove this line. And now we're going to use a cap plug that came in your Bullseye Leak Detector, and we want to plug this, firmly push this in to where it seals this vent. Now we need to pressurize the system. It's been a couple of minutes while we filled this system up. Now the time that it takes to fill obviously has to do with the vapor space in the fuel tank. If the tank is almost empty, it's going to take longer to fill, and if the tank is fuller, it'll be quicker. All the cars are going to probably be about 2 to 4 minutes in order to hit your maximum pressure. In this case, we can see that we're in the yellow, which means that we have a very small leak present in the system. It didn't get into the green, so in this case, the check engine light is actually saying we have a small leak, and our gauge is confirming that that small leak is present. What we need to do now is we need to take the electronic leak detector and go over the car to try to find out where this leak is located. The first thing I'm going to do is check the gas cap area for any leakage. I'm going to take the electronic detector and I'm going to set the sensitivity. And then we're going to go around the leak if it leaks up here. There doesn't appear to be a leak at the gas cap. Never remove a gas cap. When you do evap work, you don't want to touch or move anything. You want to fill the system, so whatever it takes to get into the system, to put pressure in it and seal it, we have to accommodate. Other than that, we don't wiggle, move, or remove any parts until we know what we're doing. In this case, I don't see a leak here, so now we need to raise the car and look underneath. What we want to do now is we want to check the components under the car. And we already talked about the canister. So we want to adjust the sensitivity. And then we want to go around the canister. Now always remember the CO2 is heavier than air and it will fall down into the probe. Now we still need to be across from a leak if there is a leak present. Now there's something up around here that we started to get a detection. So there's CO2 back here, so we're going to change our sensitivity just a little bit. We're going to check the hose up. Okay, we can see the tip is on the hose. The hose or the metal line has a leak. So we can, once again, we can double check this. We'll adjust the meter and we're going to put the detector up by the hose. You can hear the audible siren go off much louder, and my leak detection light is on, confirming that there's a leak somewhere at the hose. What we're going to need to do now is to take the leak seeker solution and spray it on the hose to see exactly where our leak is being generated from. We're going to take the leak seeker solution and we're going to spray the hose. We can see that the leak is right there where it turned yellow and it's bubbling.
Oh, that's cool.
We have a leak at the top of the hose. This XB has a leak out of the top of the hose. We need to take the top of the hose down and inspect it to make sure it's not cracked. And if it's not cracked, I want to change the type of a hose clamp to one I can actually tighten to get rid of this leak. It's a very small leak, but let's take a look. So we want to pull the hose. Obviously, we still have some energy from the CO2 in there. We could hear it. The hose looks fine. It's not cracked. So what we're going to do is take these expanding hose clamps off, and we're going to put a hose clamp that can be tightened on this hose. Now we have that hose tightened. We've been pressurizing this system after we fixed the line now for about 3 minutes. The system has obtained pressure, and as we can see, we're in the green. We fixed this car. There's no leak present at this time. Just to make sure, we're going to take the leak detector back to the line and make sure that there's no leak at the line. Let's do that. What we need to do with this XB is retest the line now that we've got it fixed and we've repressurized it. We'll take the leak detector and we'll go up around the line. As we can see, this XB is fixed.